Combs enters its second week. The prosecution has called a compelling new witness, Cassie Ventura's mother, Regina Ventura. Cassie, the highly publicized trial of Sean Diddy, R&B singer and model who dated Combs for 11 years, previously testified that the music mogul physically abused her, raped her, and coerced her into drug-fueled sexual encounters with male escorts. Now, Regina Ventura has taken the stand to corroborate key aspects of her daughter's story, revealing first-hand observations of Cassie's injuries, explaining why she took out a home equity loan to wire Diddy $20,000 and recalling her own attempts to protect her daughter from harm. Photographs of injuries. Tangible evidence of abuse. Opening Tuesday's session. Prosecutors displayed blurred photographs to the jury. Images Regina Ventura captured herself while documenting Cassie's injuries. Although online platforms require us to obscure the graphic details, these photos reveal a severely swollen lip. The soft tissue below Cassie's nostrils was distended, clearly beyond the normal bruising produced by accidental contact. A laceration above the eyebrow, dried blood crusted along a fresh wound, consistent with a blow from a blunt object. Large, dark bruises on Cassie's thigh and lower back, suggesting repeated, forceful strikes. Regina testified that she kept meticulous records of Cassie's injuries after her daughter confided in her about recurring episodes of physical violence. "I had to remember what her body looked like on the days I saw her," Regina explained. "So I took these photos to prove she was hurt, to prove it wasn't her fault." The $20,000 loan alleged extortion under duress. And next, prosecutors introduced a December 2011 email Cassie sent to her mother and one of Diddy's representatives. In it, Cassie wrote, "The threats made against me by Sean Puffy Combs are that he will release 2 explicit sex tapes, one on Christmas Day, perhaps before or right after, and another soon thereafter. He's also said he will have someone hurt me and Scott, Keed Kuda. Not by his hands, because he'll be out of the country when it happens." Upon reading the email, Regina testified she was physically sick, but her maternal instinct to protect her daughter overrode all other considerations. Under coercion, Regina said Diddy demanded a $20,000 to cover expenses he claimed he had incurred on Cassie's behalf, expenses he refused to detail. Prosecutor: "Why did you go to the bank and take out a $20,000 loan?" Regina Ventura: "I was terrified for my daughter's safety." Prosecutor: "What did you need the money for?" Regina: "To pay Sean Combs." Prosecutor: "Why did Combs demand payment?" Regina: "Because he said he'd hurt Cassie if I didn't." Importantly, Combs did accept the wire transfer. But then, days later, his team returned the funds without explanation. "I never understood why he sent it back," Regina said. "He had millions. He didn't need that money. It was never about the cash. It was about his power over my daughter." A 2016 phone theft incident. Proof of controlling behavior. Regina's testimony also revisited an incident in 2016, the year Cassie turned 30. During that period, Cassie's phone was stolen. Shortly after she left the couple's apartment with Combs, Cassie's mother received word that Diddy had taken the device. 2. Regina called 911 and, believing her daughter's privacy and safety were at risk, she alerted the police. 3. A heated confrontation later that evening. Regina waited outside Cassie's building and clashed with Combs. She admitted she yelled, screamed, and even swung at him, although Cassie was inside and did not witness the altercation firsthand. Prosecutor: "What happened after the argument?" Regina: "He gave back the phone, but drove off in Cassie's car." Defense attorneys declined to cross-examine Regina, allowing her testimony to stand largely uncontested. Her unchallenged recollection served to reinforce Cassie's broader allegations of a pattern of controlling, punitive behavior. Legal significance: corroboration, coercion, and predicates. From a legal standpoint, testimony serves 2 critical functions: corroboration of Cassie's account, independent witness. A mother's credibility is inherently strong. Jurors instinctively trust parental testimony. Photo evidence: the pictures of bruises and lacerations provide physical corroboration of Cassie's claims. Multiple incidents. 2 separate episodes: 2011 extortion, 2016 phone theft, illustrate a systematic pattern, not isolated accidents. Building a redo predicate extortion. Threats to release intimate videos unless paid can qualify as a federal extortion offense under the Hobbs Act. Coercion: the forced $20,000 payment and subsequent threats underscore the use of fear and force to control Cassie. Predicate acts: the prosecution must demonstrate a pattern of racketeering activity. Predicate offenses that include kidnapping or false imprisonment, sexual assault, and extortion. Regina's story supplied discrete examples of those alleged predicate acts. According to defense expert Rich Schoenstein, Regina's testimony is not designed to prove the entire Raichu enterprise by itself. Instead, it supplies morsels, key pieces of the mosaic that, when combined with other witnesses, reveal the larger picture of Diddy's alleged criminal scheme. The broader prosecution strategy over the coming weeks: prosecutors will call an array of witnesses, former bodyguards, hired DJs, personal assistants, and dancers, who will echo and expand upon Regina's narrative. Each is expected to testify about drug-fueled environments where Cassie was allegedly pressured into sexual encounters, threatening communications voicemails, text messages from comms, incidents of physical violence witnessed or reported by third parties. The prosecution's ultimate goal, to establish that Combs operated a criminal enterprise in flagrant violation of the federal RICO statute, abusing his star power and celebrity apparatus assistants, security teams, private jets, multiple residences to facilitate ongoing criminal conduct, photographs and forensic documentation, photographic exhibits. In this case, Regina's images of Cassie's injuries carry enormous weight in a jury trial. They transform, you said, she said, into, or is what actually happened. Schoenstein underscores this point. Photos and videos of abuse are critical because jurors need tangible proof. Otherwise, they might dismiss allegations as exaggerations or misunderstandings. In the Diddy trial, the graphic hotel room video, where Combs allegedly lashes out violently, and Regina's still photos together provide parallel lines of evidence, moving image and static documentation, both of which vividly depict physical harm inflicted on Cassie. The email, a cry for help, and evidence of threats. A centerpiece of Regina's testimony was Cassie's December 2011 email, in which she wrote not only about threats to release private recordings but also about fears for her physical safety and that of her then boyfriend, Kid Cutie, Scott Mescudit. Prosecutors read the email aloud. He's going to release 2 explicit sex tapes of me, one on Christmas Day, and he's going to have someone hurt me and Scott Mescudit. He said he'd be out of the country so his hands would be clean. The email establishes context of Cassie genuinely believed Combs would carry out his threats. For text for payment, Combs used those threats to extract a $20,000 from Regina. Premeditation, the reference to timing Christmas Day indicates careful planning. Extreme as they sound, these allegations, if jurors accept Cassie's credibility and Regina's corroboration, could satisfy elements of both extortion and conspiracy charges. No cross-examination. A strategic omission. One notable moment: Tuesday, Combs' legal team declined to cross-examine Regina Ventura. In a typical trial, even friendly witnesses are pounded on cross to expose inconsistencies or biases. Here, however, defense lawyers apparently concluded that any attempt at attacking a mother's credibility or questioning her decisions under duress would backfire spectacularly. Schoenstein credits this approach. Sometimes the best defense is no defense. If you can't poke holes in the testimony without looking callous, you avoid cross altogether. It leaves jurors with only the mother's genuine emotional testimony, uncontested. Contextualizing the allegations a pattern, not an episode. Cassie Ventura's testimony already addressed one particularly harrowing incident, a drunken outburst in which Combs allegedly tried to impale her with a wine bottle opener and later smeared the hotel room with human waste. That video, admitted into evidence, stood as a concrete instance of brutality. Regina's testimony, by adding separate episodes from 2011 and 2016, helps the jury connect dots. 2011, coerced loan under threat of violence and exposure of sex tapes. 2013, Cassie's increasingly visible bruises and emotional distress. 2016, phone theft, property damage, and another escalation in controlling tactics. These repeated incidents strengthen the prosecution's argument that Combs' abuse was neither accidental nor isolated, but systematic. What comes next? The prosecution's roadmap. With 6 to 7 weeks of testimony still ahead, the prosecution will continue to call former assistants to testify about internal directives, orders to confiscate phones, monitor Cassie's movements, or conceal evidence, bodyguards and drivers, to recount instances of violence or threats overheard in private settings, medical professionals to analyze photos and videos and confirm injuries, male escorts and party attendees to discuss alleged drug-fueled sexual encounters orchestrated by Combs' team. Each witness will supply another predicate act for the RICO case, meetings, communications, financial transactions, or acts of coercion. Stay tuned to our live updates, in-depth analysis, and continued coverage of this landmark case. For daily legal alerts and courtroom reporting, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And remember, justice is served on the record.